You might be wondering how we got here.
For all things, there is a beginning. The assembling of ideas leads to an initial encounter between individuals to form an organization of one kind or another. In order for us to look at where we are, we must first look at where we've been. In the fall of 2011, the Thrive program debuted to help students of a certain caliber to adjust to college through academic and social integration while also focusing on leadership. Similarly, the Emerge program, the first year of the Link experience, focuses on development of leadership skills in first and second year students. Both programs call for students to create and execute community service events within the local community. With the completion of the first year, the students from both Thrive and Emerge combined for the first time in the fall of 2012 to form the second year of the program. Ascend. Once more, we see that our innovative group of students accomplished a new feat. In the second year of the Link experience, a new piece was added to the program, the domestic exchange. For the first time, students travel across the nation under a unified goal, examining the issues surrounding homelessness in the United States. Each of the 4 different groups traveled to different parts of the United States to establish relationships and focus on homelessness.
After weeks of deliberation, our group decided that Japan would be the place where we would engage in such a life-changing experience. This choice would not only transform our understanding of leadership, but also bring exposure to the values, beliefs, and cultural aspects of a country that our program has never experienced before. Through ongoing involvement within the Year of Japan, the help of Dan Paraka, and other international counterparts established throughout the university, we had the essential tools that would be needed to make this trip possible.
From the moment we settled upon our amazing choice of visiting Japan, our planning went into full speed. The next step that we had to complete collectively was to decide on how to effectively plan the trip and explain its outline during our panel presentation. We decided to create the groups of fundraising, logistics, budget, context, and culture. These groups allowed us each to specialize on a specific topic so that our presentation was concise and to the point. The morning of our panel presentation, we wanted to give the feel of ancient Japanese culture. We served our guests traditional Japanese cuisine while soft Japanese folk music played in the background. After mingling with the guests and allowing them to indulge in their meal, it was time to present.
Fundraising created a variety of events to help with the budget for the trip. We had a Tom's shoe drawing, Applebee's flapjack breakfast, Christmas ornament sale, Valentine's Day heart sale, bake sales, and Braves ticket sales. Our participation in American Family Day events were helpful, thanks to our mentor Lauren Briggs. However, our biggest success was receiving the Austin Borough Scholarship of more than $13,000. With these fundraising events, we were able to gain enough profit to make our first step in purchasing our plane tickets. From the very beginning, one of our goals was to become involved with the Year of Japan program. Several of our members attended the lectures, and we also attended J-Con, a Japanese festival hosted by the Year of Japan. We were more than thankful for this opportunity to learn about Japan all throughout the school year. Our biggest contribution to the Year of Japan was hosting a Japanese film series. Our group has many people to thank for their help with our trip, but no one more so than Dr. Dan Paraka, the Director of International Services and Programs and Head Coordinator of the Year of Japan. Dr. Paraka helped us plan our trip and establish new relationships abroad. He was able to help us collaborate with the Year of Japan, get in contact with universities in Japan, and most importantly, he told us about a Japanese student studying at KSU. He suggested we get in contact with him. Luckily for us, Toshiyuki Kanemata from Soka University in Tokyo, Japan, was not only studying abroad at KSU for a year, but was also in one of our group members' class. Tyler Maddox emailed Toshi and told him about our leadership program and our plans to go to Japan. From the start, Toshi was eager to help us. We were very fortunate to host Aichi University students that were visiting Kennesaw State University. We took the students on a campus tour, took classes with us, and we taught them about our leadership program. We also had several socials where we bonded with the students.
first things we did when we got to Tokyo was visit Soka University. When we arrived at Soka, the students greeted us with such a warm welcome that we could already tell that this was going to be such a great day there. The first thing that we did with the students was to have lunch. I think this was a great part for everyone because we were able to sit one-on-one with the students. After the lunch, we took a tour of the campus. But the campus was so lush and green that it kind of made you think that you weren't in the city anymore. Emily, how do you feel?
I feel fantastic.
Fantastic. What was your favorite part of today?
Seeing how awesome their campus is compared to Kennesaw.
Oh, true. Great. How do you feel?
The art spoke to me. Deep. The thunder god. Yes.
How you feeling, girl?
I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It doesn't even show, though.
Oh, really? My most favorite part of today was talking with the students
They were really cool.
and learning about Hideo.
Hideo.
Yeah, learning about his hometown.
Hannah Lee.
I feel good. My favorite part was definitely meeting the students as well. That was fun.
Oh, now I feel like an ass. Brandy. Hey. How do you feel?
I'm sleepy.
What was your favorite part about today?
Meeting the students. Talking to the people and getting to see a little bit.
There's Seisha. We're not going to ask her how she feels. There's not many trash cans here, yet it's one of the cleanest places in the world.
At Aichi University, we were each partnered with a student to shadow for the entire day. Some of us were partnered with students who only had one class, so they went out to see more of the city, to shop, and visit the arcade. Others had 2 or 3 classes to shadow, and though very interesting to experience, the language barrier made it a little exhausting. We were also fortunate enough to help sell fair trade goods on campus, and it was a blast to chant "Oishi," meaning yummy, at the students walking by. After the bake sale, we visited the JICA, or Japanese International Corporation Agency. It was fascinating to learn all about fair trade and JICA's work towards enhancing the quality of life in underdeveloped countries around the world. We had our first Japanese sushi experience.
Sushi is gonna be on like a conveyor belt and it's gonna go around and we can like pick what we want. Like in the movies!
We are forever grateful to these students for their hospitality and stopping at nothing to make sure we were having a great time in Japan.
Throughout our 12 days in Japan, Toshi became a friend and perhaps an inspiration to each and every one of us. Toshi is exactly what a leader looks like. It can be easily said, Toshi shows all traits of a leader that come to mind, but for time's sake, I'm going to talk about just a few. Positivity, focus, harmony, and restorative. 12 days with 15 people was trying for all of us, but I promise you there was not a moment in time where you looked at Toshi and that boy was not smiling. It's truly an inspiration to be that happy at all times, and he was a continuous positive energy from the moment we stepped off the plane in Tokyo until we got back on to go home. Toshi's patience kept the group harmonious and made the experience much easier than it could have been. Often, Toshi could be found on the phone or reflecting about the future business he plans to open. Although he's a few years from graduation and even amidst the chaos of leading 14 lost travelers through Japan, he stayed focused on his future goal.
Go Toshi! Go Toshi!
One of my favorite parts about the culture in Japan was visiting the garden, specifically the Tokugawa garden. That was so beautiful to walk in and just see. You can almost feel the peace and the tranquility that that garden offered. And walking through and just taking your time just offered for a lot of self-reflection and just to be amazed at the beauty that was in the garden. I also found it amazing when we went to go visit some of the temples and the shrines that were in Japan. It was a good opportunity just to see how their culture worked, how their religion worked, how they celebrated their founders. One of the temples that we visited in Nagoya, they were celebrating one of their founders, and so they were in there having a really specific ceremony. So it was very interesting to see that and just see how their temples and shrines were built. They were so immaculate, and the way they were constructed, it was beautiful. Every detail that was that was carved into the banisters, and it was just a beautiful sight to see. And then to be able to observe an actual ceremony they were having, it just gave you a different outlook, and it really made the experience real for us.
Visiting Hiroshima was very sad, but also very educational. Peace Park gives a lot of information on the specifics of what happened that day during the war, but never once made America seem like the bad guy. It was very emotional, to say the least, to read about all the lives that were lost and impacted that day, and the history of what happened became very real when we watched students bow their heads in silence to remember the students that died during the bombing. Peace Park serves a very important purpose in that it educates the world on the destruction of the nuclear weapons and is taking initiative to ensure the pain experienced because of these weapons will never happen again. The park serves as a small example of what the Japanese culture is really about. It's just simply looking out for one another and moving toward a positive future that ensures everyone's well-being and happiness. The park also ensures that the lives lost that day will not be forgotten, and it promotes world peace and the destruction of all nuclear weapons. It is very important that everyone around the world would educate themselves as much as possible on the issue so the world does not have to experience that amount of pain again.
Eating and dining in Japan was quite an adventure. Eating together in restaurants was fairly difficult for us as we were a large group and many restaurants could not accommodate us. Also, probably a part of their collectivistic culture, almost none of the restaurants in Japan split checks. This, however, was not a bad thing as it forced us to work with and build trust with one another.
One of the most amazing things about the trip to Japan was how environmentally conscious the people are and how they don't just litter. They throw their trash away. If they see trash on the ground, they pick it up. It doesn't matter if it was theirs.
As leaders, we are strongest when we choose to work together and support each other. If nothing else, this is the lesson we can take from our time as leaders in Kennesaw. We are the students of Linked Leads, and we got here together.